Well, hi everyone. We're here having a discussion about the holidays and the busy time of year. We know everybody's got a lot going on, and you may want some tips about how we're going to go about making everything a positive experience or as positive as possible. I'm Kimberly Baldsley, and I'm a mom of 3 kiddos on the spectrum. And this is the amazing Rebecca Pulaski. She is a board-certified behavior analyst. And so we're here to talk about some tips and tricks that I've come up with as a mom over the years and that our amazing Rebecca has learned with serving these students. So one of the first things we're going to talk about, Rebecca, is all the shopping that families have to do. You have to go on so many shopping trips. Do you have any tips for families that are maybe needing to go to the mall or the grocery store?
Absolutely. The mall can be one of the most stressful places during the holidays.
It really can.
With all the bright lights, the sounds, the smells, it can be very different than a typical mall shopping trip.
Right.
So what I would suggest if you have a busy day, if you're going to the mall, the grocery store, maybe multiple places, is to make a schedule ahead of time.
So good.
So whether you write it down, whether you use picture cards, so that our students know what is expected of them.
Yeah.
And they know when they get to go home.
That's great. Yeah, I think putting an end on it for our kids is really important so they know when we're going to be done.
Right.
When are we going to be done?
Right.
Also, I think saving some of those really positive experiences for the end, like that motivator, maybe they like to ride that mechanical toy horse or the merry-go-round, just kind of working for that is really helpful.
Absolutely.
And then also helping them be part of the trip, maybe find things like I need to find this can of yams.
That's a great idea.
And let them help
incorporating them into it.
Yeah.
And giving choices even.
Yeah.
If we're buying a gift for dad, which one do you like better, this one or this one? And letting them make some choices and control as well.
I think that really helps. Using a schedule, you said using visual pictures or picture exchange. What might that look like for kiddos on different ends of the spectrum? Are we looking at maybe a list?
It could be a list. If the student is a little bit more verbal or able to read, a list is fine. Even you can help them write it out. These are the things we need to do, and they can put it in the order as long as it works with your driving schedule. Or even just pictures of the mall, of going to see Santa, doing anything like that in order.
That's a good one. That's rough. I was also going to talk about, let's chat about visiting relatives or having relatives over to your house, sort of these very demanding social situations where there's high expectations on not just the student, but also the family. And so some of the thoughts that I've come up with over the years is really managing your expectations. Knowing what you're hoping to get out of this. If opening presents together is really important, then maybe come close to that time or even communicate with family and ask, can we move that up early and make that happen before everybody's tired? What are some reinforcers? I was talking about having reinforcement, really positive things on hand for our kiddos to maybe make this a little easier. I know you've worked with a lot of kids, Rebecca. Are there any specific reinforcers that you find help a lot?
Sometimes even just escape would be a reinforcer.
That's great, yeah.
If you have that expectation, like you said, opening presents is your goal, allowing the kid to open the presents and then take a little bit of a break and reserve themselves from the big groups, because big groups can be really stressful for our kids, especially when big groups of people are coming into their home. That's their environment.
Absolutely.
So even just removing themselves,
Yeah.
Being able to play with a toy and then the expectation of coming back for maybe the meal time or whatever is important for you.
Yeah. And what about telling them in advance what's going to happen?
Absolutely. That's going to be so important. If you let the kiddo know ahead of time, hey, we're going to have 20 people at our house.
Right.
That can be very stressful. Practicing what expectations will be. Like, you are expected to sit with us and open presents, but then you can go to your room for a little bit. Using timers will be really important. How much time am I expected to be with the family versus how much time do I get on my own? And when I'm allowed to come back.
Absolutely. I think in your own home, one of the things that's really important is I had to get to the point where over the years I didn't apologize for having a safe space for my son, where there was a room in the house that was just for him, and it was okay that no one else could come into that place.
Right.
So if he needed a break or he needed his toys or items, I know sometimes sharing and that expectation can be really tricky. So I would have a box of things that they could not share.
Yeah, it's
and these
safe.
are just for you.
Safe items.
And set them up for success that way.
And I think it's important as well for you to communicate that with the family that's coming to visit.
Right.
Is that our kids aren't meaning to be rude. They're not meaning
Right.
to isolate. It's just the way
What
that
they
they're
need.
coping and
Yeah.
the way what they need in the moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're going to wrap up here in just a second, but one of the things that I found really important is to resist comparisons. Making yourself really stressed out or frustrated because you're looking at what should be or could be, instead of realizing that sometimes the little gains are good enough for today.
Absolutely.
It's okay that this day they weren't doing everything that all the other kiddos were doing, but celebrating those little wins, and realizing that it's okay that my child does what they enjoy,
Yes.
instead of trying to make them enjoy something that maybe they don't.
Absolutely.
And so I think doing that and really giving yourself a break, giving yourself space to just do the best you can for today.
Yeah.
And then what I've done with my kids over the year, and maybe you could talk about this from a behavioral standpoint, is taking a lot of pictures or even videos and going back over those later with my child and celebrating what was going well. So
Right.
say, look how you were opening the presents, and that was so much fun. And what that does is over the years, it becomes a setup for next one.
That's
or
a great
next
idea.
Thanksgiving, oh, I loved how you tried the turkey, even though it wasn't
Yes.
your favorite,
Exactly.
So I think kind of going back over those as a social story almost.
Absolutely. Video modeling is a great way to,
Yeah.
and using that to see progress over the years will be really important for you as well.
Absolutely.
So you may not be able to see it day to day, but when you look at that comparison, you'll see a big difference.
And next holidays might be a little bit different.
Absolutely. A little bit easier.
Yeah. So I think that's all we have for today, but we really appreciate you taking the time to have this really important conversation with us. We invite you to visit aaed.org, our website, to learn more about our school and how we are helping students, but also check out our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of tips and tricks there for all kinds of things. We really wish you an amazing, busy season, and we ask you to join us again to look at some more tips later.
Thank you.
Yeah.